New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles, Rosenberg, Jalen Rose, ESPN Zone. Before Rosenberg was ESPN Zone Rosenberg, there was a Jalen Rose.
He was the Rose.
The Rose, man.
The first Rose.
I want to first commend you about your lineup and your waves.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate
Your
the love.
lineup and wave game.
I'm 46 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
And you guys know when you're doing television, you're doing radio, when you're an entertainer, you got to take certain wins to separate you from the pack. So I realized that, okay, I still got my hair.
That's right.
Got to line up.
That's right.
I might as well get the brush waves going.
You might as well.
You know?
Now, I recall as a even back Fab Five, your waves was popping.
So what ended up happening is in high school, I was all about the haircuts and the parts and all of that stuff, part down the middle, everything. Then we got to college, we wanted to rock the baldies.
Right.
So for like 10 years, I wore a bald head almost.
Right.
So people didn't realize, and I didn't realize that, my hair was still going to last this long. So
Got it.
I
So you
guess
had
it
a bald-
preserved
Yeah,
it.
you did have a baldy back then.
Yeah,
you didn't
yup.
have the waves back then.
baldies, black shoes, black socks.
So now you're sort of just stunting on people at this point, though.
Yes, that's
I mean,
the goal.
like the
Well,
amount.
if we have real talk on ESPN, a lot of the black men have baldies. Stephen A's hanging in there. He's hanging. It's running. We call that running.
No, it's running.
It's running like
it
the
wasn't
Far
like
Side.
LeBron level running, but
No. And by the way, there's procedure now because now with LeBron and these individuals, they bring in the hairlines. They trying to get it back.
So LeBron has something that's called a unit.
Whoa.
What's that?
Earlier in the year, if you notice, he was rocking a headband.
Right.
And during one of the games, the headband got moved.
That's right. And so did
and
the
the hair moved. And Anthony Davis was trying to tell him, like, yo, you got to fix that. And if you notice, you ain't seen LeBron rocking a headband since. So a new discovery in the NBA. You'll never see LeBron James pregame or postgame not without a do-rag.
oh, it's always do-rag now.
It's always do-rag. Allen Iverson had to crawl so these dudes can walk.
But Allen was doing it for different reasons.
Correct.
He was protecting the cornrows.
Correct.
The braids.
Yes.
So the unit, as we know is LeBron James' hair. Is this was surgically done?
I've never had it done, but what I hear is like it's not necessarily surgically done. It's more stitched, I guess, in your hair to make it look like it's.
So it's what's it called? Lace front. It's a lace front.
Or a lace front. Okay.
Okay,
A
like
lace
a
front.
weave.
Yeah.
It's technically
Yeah,
a
it's
weave.
Yeah, it's a weave.
It's
That's what it
woven
is.
in.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
That's what's going
That's
on.
really interesting
Yes.
to be that short. But don't you have to have some hair?
Well,
to
he
get
had
weaved
some
in?
growth, and then they wove in.
Right.
Men do a lot of work with hair. It's
I
an
mean, you might as
underrated-
well look. There was a time, and you could. I mean, your situation is. I mean, honestly, it needs to be chronicled. I think your lineup and wave game, because I honestly thought you had a hairpiece that's so clean.
Seriously.
Seriously,
Yeah, I thought
it's
that
that
before.
clean.
Oh no,
I've looked up
no,
before and been
no.
like, this can't be real.
I always try to take wins. So for public consumption, I pay attention to what other cats is rocking. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm about to come with the double-breasted. I'm about to come with the three-piece. I'm going to come with the top pins. I'm going to come with the brooches. I purposely zig when everybody else is zagging.
Okay.
So this was an example of that.
yeah.
Got
Well, this
it.
is one you have to. When you have something like that going
Yeah,
on.
but your lineup is so clean. I know we're going to transition here.
It's
but
hard. It's hard to move on.
It's hard to move on because remember Steve Harvey for years. His fade was so clean. We found out later on that Steve Harvey haircut all them years was a weave. It was a thing.
Really?
That wasn't his hair.
Really?
That's why I remember he went from clean to bald.
Gotcha.
Overnight.
Gotcha. Wow. And I can't grow a beard, so I'm jealous of yours.
Yeah, well, I have to do something because this is a disaster.
I've never shaven in my life because I can't grow a beard.
You're joking.
I don't own a razor. I've never shaved in my life.
So you just use clippers here.
Just use clippers because it won't grow. My goatee just grows like this.
And then here, you could just wait weeks.
Yeah.
And then just take a clipper and run it up.
It will not grow. I think it's because I had so many bumps on my face growing up.
Yeah.
So
The follicles is dead.
yeah, I think.
But now the bumps are gone too.
yeah,
You're
man,
clean. You're in business now.
The first time I ever went to a dentist, I was in the NBA. Same with the dermatologist.
Wow.
I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
That was not even an option.
Yeah.
You know, I had rock teeth. I got veneers. Soon as I got drafted, first thing I did, straight
Really?
to the dentist.
Wow, your veneers look good. You didn't opt for the chiclets. You know how some people when they get veneers, you're like, oh god.
No.
He got the old school veneers.
Yeah, I got
they
them in
look natural.
1994.
Wow.
Same ones, rocking.
Yeah, same ones.
Now, that's an interesting thing, though, because we do talk about, like...
Food in the hood.
And not only food, but I was going to say also we kind of forget about how there are some things like teeth that people don't think about how much of an impact that has. But from a professional standpoint, it's rare in our business that we would meet someone who has straight up fucked up teeth.
Correct.
It does not happen.
Well, I remember looking up to certain people who had bad teeth like me. So Too Short when I was young. I remember Nas had the chip tooth, Reggie Miller. Those are all people when I was young and I was getting teased about my teeth. I appreciate it.
Reggie Miller had like 30 teeth just in the front. Remember that? He had like shark teeth.
Yup.
He had like layers.
When I was a shorty, I always looked to those cats and was like, they successful and they have bad teeth too.
And now at some point, all of those people went on to fix their teeth, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it is just an interesting thing, though, because we take for granted, me being from the suburbs, that you go to the dentist your whole life, and kids who got braces got braces. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's a real, like, line in economic status that's, like, it's unsaid that exists.
That's why for public consumption, I try never to be perfect. I was just talking on Jalen and Jacoby recently about how I peed in the bed till, like, 4th grade. And that was something I got teased about. I got teased about being poor. I got teased about having bad teeth. I joked about biting my toenails to show my flexibility. I know that sounds nasty, but I ain't the only person in here to try to do that. I know I ain't. And so when you show that level of vulnerability, I want to just give the audience and the public an opportunity to feel like you can make it out of your situation and you don't have to be perfect to do it.
Was your dad in the home when you was growing up?
So my biological father, Jimmy Walker, died in 2007. He was the #1 pick in the 1967 NBA draft, and I never met him. And so my motivation, one of my other motivations was that he would know my name one day because he wasn't in my life. So I grew up in a single-parent home. I'm the youngest of 4. I know what it's like to have kerosene heaters. I know what it's like to, boil water to wash up. Syrup sandwiches, mayonnaise sandwiches, sugar water, sugar milk, all of that. I know about all of that. And so I was motivated by him not being in my life that one day I would be famous enough that he would know me. So in high school, I wore number 42, the opposite of his number, which was 24. So I had an anger, I had a spite.
Chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely, and a disdain towards a lot of things, including him. But once I got older and started being successful, I dropped it immediately. So I want to tell all young people out there, single parent, you never met your mom, you never met your dad. If you're in position to now chase your goals or chase your dreams, you got to now let that grudge go. And I was in a position to do that. Yeah, because that negative energy can stop you from your goals and stop you from your dreams.
But you never met him.
I never met him, but I talked to him on the phone a couple of times. I tracked him down. He allegedly had 13 kids by 11 women.
Wow.
So I tracked him down. I got him on the phone. I was in the NBA. He wrote me a letter when I was in college because a gentleman named Mitch Albom was doing a Fab Five book. And he didn't want to be a part of the books, but at the time he wrote me a letter, and Mitch gave me the letter during the Final Four. I kept this letter for 7 years and never even opened it. So once I got paid, once I was in the league, once I felt like I was an adult, one day I was at Dale Davis' house, one of my teammates, and they was playing poker. I was like, I'm about to open this letter. So I opened it, I started reading it, and I went in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm about to call him right now. So I called, got one number, a lady answered, he's not here, probably was his ex or something. She gave me 2 or 3 other numbers. So then I finally got him on the phone. First thing I told him is I love him, I appreciate him, I thank him. Because my brothers and sisters aren't athletic. Basketball did everything for my family, took us from the inner city to the suburbs. And so I thanked him for my basketball genes, and I thanked him for his indirect influence and motivation in my life. And he passed not too far after that, so I didn't get a chance to meet him in person, but I had some clarity, emotionally, at least that I got a chance to share that with him.
That's super deep. Thanks for sharing that with us. I was thinking, too, because you brought up peeing in the bed, and that trauma a lot of kids have is that family, a lot of people don't know that peeing in the bed late like that is tied to, like, some real family trauma and different things in kids.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's a psychological component there to like kids going through trauma and things like that.
Well, I wake up in the morning. I'd be like, 4, 5 in the morning. I'm flipping the mattress. I'm trying to wash the clothes I just peed in. I'm doing all of that, trying to do it before the rest of the fam got up. And there were a period of time where we didn't have heat, and I didn't have my driver's. Probably shouldn't be saying this, but whatever. So I used to take my mom's car and go fill up the kerosene heaters so that the house could be warm when she woke up in the morning. Wow. Like, that was my way to try to thank her for her hard work before she took me to the bus stop or whatever.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
You were just jumping. Where were you? In Michigan, where were you?
Detroit.
You were in Detroit. What part of Detroit?
West side. The school that I founded, the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy.
That's where I was going to go next, yep.
It's in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, the same zip code, 48235. It's literally a mile and a half away from.
And how is the academy doing?
The academy is doing terrific. Thank you for asking. It was founded in 2011. And what makes our situation unique is we not only focus on graduating young people from high school, but also we nurture them through college as well. So we founded something that's called a 9 through 16 model. So I service 800 students, 400 plus that are currently in high school, and 400 plus that are either in college or university, community college, military, or trade school. So this level of support that we give our young people, not only trying to educate them, but give them life skills and etiquette and problem solving, decision making, all of the things that they get exposed to as so very young. And like you just mentioned, the traumatic experiences that they get a chance to see, they lose their innocence so early. Think about nowadays, a kid could be 5 years old, your parents drinking, smoking, cussing, watching Scarface, and you're taking all of this in as a young person. You have to find a way to debrief yourself, and that's what we're able to do when we get them in the building.
And your school, because LeBron also has his institution. How many other NBA players that we may not know about are doing, or just professional athletes are doing work at this level, right? Because LeBron, obviously, because he's LeBron, gets a lot of front page coverage on what he's doing.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that LeBron took the baton and made it mainstream. I kind of compared it to. Michael Jackson wasn't the first person to moonwalk.
That's right.
But he popularized it. So there was a lot of people that didn't realize that I started a school almost 10 years ago until LeBron started one. And it was funny. I looked down at Twitter and I was trending when LeBron started his school, and it was people trying to compare the movements type of thing. And it was really weird. But other people that did it before me, David Robinson has a private school in San Antonio. I know George Gervin is doing some things with education. I forget the gentleman's name, the tennis player in Las Vegas has a school. Agassi has a school. I know Pitbull is doing something in Florida. I know Diddy was doing something in Harlem.
Diddy has a couple of schools.
Yep, exactly.
Charters.
So the gentleman that helps influence Diddy's school, Dr. Steve Perry.
Yeah, that's my buddy. He comes on our program.
So he was one of the people that inspired me. I'll never forget watching CNN.
I saw the same one because he's in Connecticut.
Yes,
and you live up there.
Exactly. I was watching CNN, and he was the founder of the school. He was driving the bus. He was the fundraiser. He was doing everything. And it was at a time where I already was influencing public school kids via education. I have an endowment at the University of Michigan that's graduated a couple of kids. So I was already doing that anyway, but he helped graduate my mental mission. That I need to do more. And so that inspiration allowed me to reach out to him. I reached out to him. I was working in Bristol at the time. When I first started doing it, you know about Bristol. And I actually went and visited school and did a couple of fundraisers with him. And that baton ultimately led to me starting my own school in Detroit.
Wow, that's dope.
Tuition free, public charter, open enrollment. We don't test students in. We don't test students out. We have special needs students that we service. We have some homeless students that we service. And, I'm committed to the work. I'm the founder and I'm president of the board.
How do they apply? How does one get in?
We're open enrollment. All you have to do is fill out a form.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to be a part of anything that was going to segregate in any way, shape, or form. And so usually the young people that we influence, when I get them at 9th grade, they're probably reading at a 5th or 6th grade level, probably doing math at the same So we need that 8 years to put them in position to be successful. We call it bridging the education gap. Inner city students get around $8,000 per year from the state. Suburban students in the Detroit metropolitan area get like $15,000. And, for Catholic schools, parents are fortunate enough to pay like $35,000. So if you add those numbers up over a 13-year period, I'm trying to take the same student that's getting a quarter of the money invested in them and put them in the same situation to compete in the same college classroom, to compete for the same job when they get out of school.
And that doesn't even count how different their lifestyles are and the trauma and everything that comes with this. Is just on an education level.
Correct.
How can you possibly? That's an I mean, you can't do it without giving kids an opportunity like your school.
Absolutely. That's why fundraising is really important. That's why exposure is really important. And we have an 11-month model. So for inner city kids, I never, except when I was in school, I used to love getting out in June and going back in September. But there's a reason why, for example, other countries, we're owing them money, not the other way around, because they're going to school 6 or 7 days. And we're really behind in a global aspect. So in July, all of the students that fail a class have summer school. If you pass your classes, we get you a summer experience, either where you visit a college and or get you an internship, a paid one and or an unpaid one. So any relationship that I have, I try to barter for the school. And that's what I've been doing since 2011.
Well, listen, this has been amazing and positive so far. So let me jump into some dirt real quick.
Okay.
We've been there.
Let's get it.
Did you want to punch LaVar Ball in the face, or were you really cool just letting your wife handle her biz herself?
Well, I
Wait,
think
what happened?
LaVar talked crazy to Molly on First Take. Remember when he had that thing, you can blah, blah, blah with me anytime, whatever BS he said.
Switch gears.
You switch gears. You can switch gears with me anytime.
All right.
So we both been doing television over a decade, and she's a vet, and LaVar's a television vet, and he understands marketing and promotion. And I'm one of the people that always stood on the table because while people were trying to silence him, I was one of the people like, I appreciate him being an entrepreneur. I never met my father. I'm glad that he's
I bought the
coaching his
shoes. I was
kids.
up for the scam. Bought the shoes. Promoted the
Did they
shoes.
send them to you in a timely manner?
No, absolutely not.
Not timely, but he eventually got them.
Right.
A year later.
And so I was watching the show when it happened. And since I have his number in my phone, I just text him. Like, I want to just make sure this don't snowball into nothing in any way, shape, or form. I got love for you. That's my wife. I was just trying to squash it. And then before I knew it, he was out of the building, and I guess somebody ran up to him, TMZ or whatever, put a mic to his face. Then he doubled down and he tripled down.
That's all he does.
Right.
He only has double and triple
so
down.
I was just like, I'm gonna just let him cook, whatever. But the funniest thing is when people was like, well, they got him banned. They got LaVar banned from ESPN. Do y'all think I can get somebody banned from ESPN?
Right.
Who has 2 sons eventually going to be playing in the NBA? That don't even make sense. So I just felt like I'm gonna just fall back and let it die down, and that's
you
what
knew
it
he
did.
was just talking crazy.
Yeah, he was just talking.
And Molly handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
She didn't like over punish it. She just was like, all right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
it was perfect.
Right. LaVar's one of those people that I appreciate, and this is why I'm in this business. He just talks to talk.
But you
and
also
sometimes I hear himself talk.
Did you also have some sense of appreciation? Because I do feel like a lot of people did come up though to defend your wife though.
Yes,
it did
yes.
anger, especially within the company.
Yes.
There were a lot of people. I know
Yes.
on our show we were like,
Yes.
get him the hell out of here.
Right.
He doesn't ever need to come back.
Yeah,
up here.
I definitely appreciated the people that supported her, and we talked about that. But since we work together, once we get in the car and once we get to the crib, we're not talking about work anymore.
Right.
That's kind of one of our rules. We people always say, I bet it'd be cool to have a wife that work in sports and she loved the Giants. Like, we're not talking about that at home.
Right.
It's just the opposite. So once we got to the house, we didn't say too much about it anymore.
How do you feel, about the storylines in the NBA? What's your favorite storyline right now in the NBA?
My favorite storyline is dynamic duels. Super teams, you kind of it's good to have that David versus Goliath thing, but it's great to have so many fan bases to feel like either they have a chance to win a championship or they have a star on their team. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at Los Angeles, they got Anthony Davis and LeBron. Look at the Clippers. Mm-hmm. They got Kawhi and Paul George. Mm-hmm. Look at the Rockets. They got Russell and Harden and Westbrook. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the East, you still got Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And so it's so many great dynamic duels. Luka Doncic and Porzingis. They haven't even hit their prime yet. And Luka out here scoring 30 every night, getting triple-doubles.
Julius Randle and Bobby Portis, you know?
The Nets, and when they're going to get KD and Kyrie.
Yeah.
So it's just great storylines throughout the NBA, and none of us can say definitively who's going to win the championship this year, and that's always great.
So you're cool with taking a little break from the Warriors?
Yes.
You were ready for that?
Yes. I've been covering the NBA Finals since 2002 on television, and the Warriors was setting up to be a real dynasty. Imagine if KD would have stayed. Just think about if KD would have stayed with the Warriors.
Well, the interesting piece is this year we're watching the Warriors, obviously, in I don't want to call it rebuild, but I'm going to call it recovery, right? Because injuries, and they went, 5 consecutive years straight to the postseason where you're playing, what is
100 games
100 games every year. So at a certain point, you're going to need to change the tires and recalibrate this. And that's what I think we're seeing right now, right?
I agree.
And even if KD would have stayed, he would have had to take this season off because the injury happened.
Correct. And Klay Thompson's basically going to miss most of the year.
Right.
Steph Curry dealt with a hand injury. He's going to miss a lot of the year. And they're in a full rebuild mode. Imagine the Warriors are going to be in the lottery. You go from winning 3 championships in 5 years, 5 straight finals, they're going to be in the lottery. The Pelicans draft Zion. I couldn't wait to watch Zion play basketball. Now all of a sudden, they might be in the lottery again.
Right.
So now these teams are going to get a chance to reload, and we're going to have more teams to talk about in the next couple of seasons.
Have there ever been this many superstars? Because Zion's a superstar, even if he just on name, right?
Giannis, reigning MVP.
Kawhi,
then you got
superstar.
Kyrie, you got Dame Lillard, you got Kawhi, you got
LeBron,
Kevin Durant, you got
KD.
LeBron,
Russell,
Jim, your boy Jimmy
my boy
Harden.
Jim, Russell. There's a lot of them. It's all over the place.
It is.
Doncic's definitely he's a superstar. That guy's about to be a superstar.
Yes.
How did they strike Dirk twice? I mean, he's not Dirk, but to have this random European dude who you really weren't that familiar with, and all
He's
of a sudden
got Dirk abilities.
dominant. Yeah, he can shoot it from anywhere. He can go to he does everything.
And when you watch him play, it's easy money.
Easy.
It's easy. He not out there going too fast.
Nah.
He not out there stressing it. He out there, you look up, I was watching the game last night. I was like, he got 35?
Well, he did the other day. He had the fastest 30-point triple-double in the history of the NBA, 25 minutes.
Just think about what you just said.
I know.
That's easy work.
But just like with Dirk, does that win championships? Because it took Dirk a long time to get a team to that championship level, because when it comes to the finals, all that cool shoot, if you're not playing defense, all that cool shooting only takes you so far.
But Dirk did get one.
He got
and
one,
he got it
but it
against
took
LeBron.
time.
Think about it. It's maybe the most slept-on epic thing ever that they beat the Heat.
Right.
They did.
It doesn't even make sense
They did.
when you look back at it.
But here's the difference. So, and the Mavs learned from this. This was really smart what Mark Cuban and them did. They had a chance to grow Steve Nash and Dirk in their prime, and they let Nash get away.
Right.
And he went to Phoenix and won a couple of MVPs. That's why it took Dirk a little bit longer to get there. They got both of these guys, Porzingis and Doncic, pre-prime. Porzingis only 24.
And barely played and has no mileage on him, basically.
Correct. And Luka's only 20. And people are going to want to go play with them.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you get a chance to see where they're weak. Oh, we need somebody on the perimeter. Oh, we need another big guy inside. They will win a championship. They're going to win one, at least one.
Now,
and it's not going to take too long.
Speaking of wanting to play with, KD came up here and said that it's not cool to play on the Knicks anymore. Players don't really want to go there. And there was a whole backlash about that. And obviously he's saying that because he's in Brooklyn and he wants to stir the pot.
And he's a troll.
KD
loves the conversation.
But to what truth is there a cloud over the Knicks that you've heard with regard to ownership and just the culture of the team?
So working within the league and being a former player, guys normally go, number one, where they're going to get paid. So when you're a guy like Kevin Durant, you're going to get the max anywhere. So now you're picking and choosing your spot. But there are going to be a couple of guys that I'm watching that are going to be free agents soon. And I'm not putting them on the Knicks team. I'm just saying, imagine if Donovan Mitchell left Utah.
Donovan Mitchell, who the Knicks passed on.
Hey, but he's from Connecticut.
Right.
And you never know. Giannis is gonna be a free agent at some point.
You think there's any chance though? Like, do you think it was a specific KD Kyrie thing that they happen to not be interested, but that others could be interested?
Well, I truly believe that KD went from being the lead recruiter to Kyrie. Then KD got hurt, and Kyrie became the lead recruiter because Kyrie always wanted the Nets. KD wasn't sure if he wanted the Knicks or the Nets. We just knew that he was coming to New York.
KD said he didn't even consider the
that
Knicks.
That was KD trolling. There's no way he didn't consider it. Well, we know how much Rich loves the Knicks. There's just no way. There's no way. I saw Rich on TV. I think of the Knicks game the other day. He's still there.
He texted me about the Knicks this morning because we called. We called
Turkey. We called because Turkey got called the Knicks of Thanksgiving.
And I got to watch my Lions on Thanksgiving, and we're not going.
Definitely.
My bad, bro. You lost to my guys yesterday. That's tough to do.
I know.
That's very tough to do.
That was an ugly game. That was an ugly game. I'm a degenerate Lions fan. So any Knicks fans out there, I feel your pain.
Yo, you guys started this season. The Lions actually appeared to be interesting to get to the point where
They
now
always appear to be interesting.
That's why I'm a degenerate
to
fan.
get to the point though where you lost to Washington, and Washington is such a low. But who's your quarterback right now?
Jeff Driscoll.
He's one of the few quarterbacks. Every time they said his name yesterday, I was like, I don't know who they're talking about. Anyways, I couldn't even
You know
keep
how many
track
of
of
those?
it.
There's at least 4 of those in the NFL.
No, there are.
right now.
It is.
But Driscoll started. I mean, this is his team right now.
Right, it is. And Matthew Stafford normally is really durable. He has some issue with his back. We lost our starting running back, Kerryon Johnson. So this is not going to be an exciting Thanksgiving
They're
game.
going to keep Stafford out the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, no doubt. You don't
So,
bring
by
him
the way,
back at all.
wouldn't Detroit have been a good Kaepernick option?
Absolutely.
Right now? Like, the rest of the year, so you have a serviceable player?
You're preaching to me. Yes.
Like, Driscoll looked like nothing. He threw interceptions throughout the whole game
But let me
yesterday.
tell you a secret. 8 teams went to go watch Colin Kaepernick. The Lions was one of them.
They were one
they
of
were.
them.
How did you feel about the workout overall?
So there are a lot of ways to go with the workout. So over 3 years, he didn't get a chance to work out for any teams when all they had to do was pick up the phone and call him. Easy. So when they all of a sudden decided that they were going to, in my opinion, rush a workout, that wasn't ethical. However, when you're the player, you got to take that opportunity because he does want to play quarterback in the NFL. So I would have loved for it to be on a Tuesday where 32 teams could have gone, GMs could have gone, coaches could have gone. That didn't happen.
The NFL wasn't interested in being that.
Fair?
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll go with
or
that.
transparent for that matter. So if the workout's on Saturday, if I'm Colin, what do I do? First off, I'm not signing a waiver. I don't trust y'all. Y'all don't respect me. Y'all whiteball me out of the game. I ain't signing nothing. Even if it looked legit, I ain't signing nothing. I'm rolling with them on that. I don't mind his attire. Kunta Kinte shirt was dope. I need one of those. In entertainment, we don't show up in a blazer shirt and tie for our jobs. If you ever watch NFL players come to a game, you ever watch NBA players come to a game, it's a red carpet. That's your chance to
Make a statement.
To make a
And
statement.
Colin doesn't have that many anymore because he doesn't make public appearances, really.
Correct. So he didn't get a chance to work out in front of the 25 teams. I'm glad he got a chance to work out in front of 8 teams. But the one thing I know, it only take one team to sign him. And I think now a blueprint got laid for him to do workouts. So now when they have owners meetings and stuff like that, I need to see Colin, high school, same city, working out in front of the media, doing exactly what he did. So a template now has been set to the point where I feel when training camp happens, he will be in somebody's camp.
You know, it's interesting you say that. Another thing that got blown over with the Colin Kaepernick thing, I found out later. So this football stadium that was 50 miles away from the original location was actually closer to the airport
Yeah, we talked about that.
than the original location.
I heard
So-
that he did it on purpose.
Right, in hopes that people, as they went back to the airport, would still pull up to this field that they had, which, come to find out, was they were in Atlanta doing a Know Your Rights camp, and that was the school that they dealt with, and that's why they let them use the field.
Got it.
So, there was so much noise, we never actually got to those points in the thing. But I do feel like the NFL, they didn't want this to be clean, because if they did, we've talked about several times, why wouldn't you call him privately before you send out a memo to the press.
It's nonsense.
We all found out about this workout at the same time Colin Kaepernick found out about the workout. So y'all was trying to embarrass him from the rip in hopes that he would say he wasn't ready for the workout. Why else would you make a surprise announcement and not call his agent behind the scene like, hey, we're thinking about doing this thing. Here's how we would see it playing out. How do you see it playing? And actually make it something where there could be trust.
Absolutely. And I'm a champion for Colin. And one of the things that we all know is whether he did a great workout, whether it was 25 teams, 8 teams, 1 team, him not being in the NFL has nothing to do with his athletic ability.
Right. So what you could show at a workout is actually irrelevant.
Correct.
So here's the question I'll ask you. And I say this with the starter of, I believe that in all of this, 85% of the wrong is on the NFL. That's how I feel. However, if we know it's not about the football, was Colin's statement that he made after the right statement to make? Or was that specifically, if you want the job, what they didn't want to hear?
Well, you've already been ostracized and kicked out of the game and not given an opportunity anyway. So at that point, you got nothing to lose.
Well, unless you truly, the only thing you truly want in life is to play quarterback again. Because if that's truly what you wanted, I don't think saying, stop running from me, you're scared. I'm good with him saying it. He's right. But if your job is, if you're like, I want to play
Being
with you.
antagonistic
if
is
they're
not,
not, they're running. They're going to continue to run.
So I've heard that sound 100 times, and I want people to go back and listen to it because you know what I heard in his voice? He was hurt.
For sure.
I heard pain in his voice.
He was mad. There was a little quiver in his voice.
For sure.
Like he almost wanted to shed a tear. That's what I heard in his voice. Imagine taking a peaceful protest and a stand on something that's really ethical, and all of a sudden losing your job for it and being ostracized so much from the game that you can't even get a job being a backup quarterback.
You have to have your own weird tryout.
Correct.
Well, no, let's make it worse. It's worse than that. Because remember when he initially knelt, he thought he was doing everything right. He checked with veterans. And his team supported him.
Correct. And gave him $1 million check.
Bonied up money. So it wasn't a team and it wasn't anti-NFL. He had gotten support. The NFL as an entity allowed this to become what it is because of the current president and social media turning it into something divisive, not Colin.
Correct. And so he's not the first person to protest at a sporting event for the national anthem. I actually played with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf in Denver, and when he was doing it at a point of his career, and that ultimately ended up getting him out of the NBA. And so the NBA instituted a rule.
You have to do it.
That basically during the anthem you should participate. The NFL did not have that rule. And what's the movie? Ice Cube plays Fudge. Higher Learning. Mm-hmm. So I've only seen maybe, I jokingly say that, I've probably seen 15 movies in my life, and I watch them all 100 times.
Right.
So in that movie, where the character Fudge is talking to the young fella, he's telling him, what would you do if you're at a sporting event and the national anthem comes on and you don't believe in what it says? Do you stand? What would you do? And he's like, I'll just stand. And so to me, when I saw Colin first do that, I was like, man, that was a scene from that movie. And it was so powerful to me that in a peaceful protest that he can now galvanize and create a conversation that now all of a sudden we really need to have. Police brutality and the treatment of minorities.
He did it. By the way, it changed the conversation.
Correct.
He literally affected American culture,
yes,
for sure.
Yes. And as somebody that gives back to his community and is socially and politically active and looked up to Muhammad Ali and know about the Ali Summit and had that picture hanging up on my wall and know that how vilified he was until I think 1990-something when he got a chance to carry the torch in Atlanta, I saw Colin moving himself into somebody that became bigger than playing football. And so for me, as much as I want to see him in the NFL, I need him to continue to be who he is. So I appreciated how he handled his interview because if he would have been like, well, I'm willing to do whatever. I'm willing to say whatever. I promise I'm not going to kneel.
Should he have taken questions?
No, I wouldn't have taken questions either. Because It ain't about my football ability. What y'all gonna ask me? Should I have a job? Of course. Do I want to play? I'm in shape. Of course I want to play.
I work out every day.
I work out every day.
But we have to be fair though. We do expect that people are going to talk about what their feelings are. So to hold an event and then you be like, I'm saying my word and walking out, that is generally, you're from this world, whether it's right or not, athletes are expected to speak to the media who gathers to watch them.
I'm going to give you a different way to look at that. And we judge people based on their success. How many times have you seen the great Greg Popovich do an interview and dismiss the person that asked him a question?
All the time.
Okay.
Belichick.
How many times did Belichick does that?
All the time.
But we allow that to happen because they're great and they've won championships and they're doing it their way. But Matt Patricia, who coaches the Lions, can't do that because the media be all over him. They'll say you haven't had the success that they had, so you can't.
Greatness affords you luxuries.
Correct, in our society. So for Colin, to me, I would not have taken questions because there's nothing I can say right now to this mob of media that's going to help my cause. Just like this workout ain't really helping my cause. But I'm going to show y'all that I'm here, I'm present, I'm in shape, I'm ready to go, I'm healthy, and if somebody wants to reach out to me, they know my number.
What did you think about Stephen A's discussion around the whole thing?
So it's one of those things when you work in the media, you want to be transparent to your audience. And for him, it just highlighted an opinion that he had. He continued to foster on this show, going back and forth with Eric Reed, going back and forth with Colin, how he felt like the guy should have had, how he felt he should have handled it different. And as you see, I feel differently. That's my coworker. I respect where he comes from. And, you know, the one thing I will say is, even though I disagree with how he felt about it, he continued to own it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so
the real fight he had was him being rightfully, in my opinion, upset that people's first thing is to go to Uncle Tom. He called our show just to screaming about it. And by the way, he called the K show, talked about it, hung up. A caller called up and was like, nah, I'm still not messing with Stephen A. Stephen A called back. Like he was really offended that people that's where their
Well, they
default
wanted to
was
offend
yours.
him.
correct.
Right,
That's
he felt
was the
offended by
point.
him. I mean, I think
They felt offended by a guy jumping, and I believe too fast, onto the internet to say that Colin Kaepernick, with a sinister smirk
I
and
said this to
voice,
him, yes.
he's finished, like it was a game to him.
Right.
Right? Where what Colin represents to many people.
It's very personal.
It's very personal. It's very emotional, right? And it's very serious. And I think that's the piece that Stephen A. I don't even know if he's missing so much, but the nuance of it all is, once again, Colin is not playing football because of his physical abilities. It's because of what he represents. Mm-hmm. And what he represents is also keeping him, right, in the forefront of social media, on the cover of magazines, et cetera, not his abilities on the field. It has everything about Colin, right, is not about what actually happened on the field.
And also, like, just take it from a business standpoint. Say you're the Carolina Panthers. Say you're the Detroit Lions. And you sign Colin Kaepernick today. Are we watching?
Absolutely.
Are we buying jerseys?
Everybody.
That's the part, to me, that continues to be lost amongst the NFL teams. You also
They're more scared of the rich white dudes who own the boxes. That's it.
And they're more afraid, historically speaking, to validate an upright black man. That's never happened in popular anything. Other than with Ali, and that came generations
50
later.
years later.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Never in the moment has an upstanding black man doing something righteous for other people of color, and black people specifically, been celebrated while they're doing it.
LeBron's sort of being celebrated right now.
But has he done anything? I mean, what?
Yeah,
I can't breathe.
No. You know, he got some people in powerful offices tweeting negative things about him.
Yeah.
But they
he's
just
also,
can't stop him.
No, and he's being uplifted at least though by the league and his team. He's the face of the league. No one's running from that.
Correct. Yes.
But
yes.
I mean, of course, there are people who hate his guts. LeBron is a major target of racism. Also, I'm not saying he's not, but I do think he's also being celebrated his time. But to your point, I agree. I just think the bigger issue is some of those owners. It's not necessarily about racism. It's directly about dollars, and in their eyes, uplifting a righteous black man does not get them money. It gets them jersey money. Honestly, they probably don't believe that the black fans that they have would buy the season tickets to support the player. So they're going to end up, which, by the way, we know from working in black radio is BS. That's why advertising, they don't want to advertise fancy banks and car companies. Right. So instead, we always get advertisements that are slightly lower rung. Yep. It's the same philosophy. So they're like, no, let's worry about the Christ in Detroit, the card companies, and all these people who own the suites. They're scared that you put in righteous Colin Kaepernick, they're going to be like, oh, that's what you guys do? You support Colin Kaepernick? No thanks.
But also, becomes a tipping point also. And if you look at the quarterback position in the NFL, it's changed dramatically. It's gotten a lot darker under center. Look at all of the top players. Yep. Patrick Mahomes, the reigning MVP, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson setting the game on fire. Deshaun Watson. And so the quarterback position used to mirror the kicking position. Okay, that has changed. So now I think there's going to be an opportunity, in my opinion, for Colin Kaepernick to get back into the game because of what I just said. Also, you know what else those teams and sponsors really want to do? They want to win. And if he can help me win ratings and help me get ratings, I can consider it. And somebody's going to bring him in for a tryout to see how it goes.
I love your optimism that could happen.
I believe it's going to happen.
I
truly believe it's going to happen.
By the way, I will say this, though, too. Be very interesting to see if one day, if Colin doesn't get his chance, if some of those quarterbacks that you just mentioned, I don't want to apply pressure to them, but if any of those quarterbacks decided to take a knee, you telling me the Chiefs are going to punish Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
Word. How about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Anyone's going to say anything right now?
The Ravens for the culture. I love them.
Russell Wilson? Anyone going to say anything to Russell Wilson? These are the two MVP candidates, right? So that would be very interesting as well, because Colin, they love standing on, well, he wasn't good anymore. That's their favorite thing to stand on.
But Ebro made a great point, though. The 49ers championed his movement and donated $1 million to it.
The problem is they were done with each other business-wise, which is the problem. So they supported him personally.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted more money and wanted out of his deal, and he had the injury situation. I don't think he completely trusted them from a health standpoint anymore. And they were like, we're going to release you anyway. So it's kind of a bummer, because if they've been able to work it out.
But my point is they were able to separate business from something that was an important thing. And that's what all of this comes down to.
Yes.
Right? Which also goes back to the neighborhoods that the NFL, doubles and triples down in with Pop Warner and these other things, are generally low-income, black neighborhoods where they have these NFL programs that are growing kids into their sport, right? And Colin serves those neighborhoods also. And just like every other black player, and I think it would serve the NFL better long-term if they were able to lean in here, but we've been saying that.
Jalen, you have to go serve the people, I'm being told.
I do, but it's always important for us to speak to power and acknowledge that there's a shortage of black head coaches in college football and in the NFL and general managers and offensive coordinators and in ownership. Because if we don't say anything, then it's almost like ignoring the obvious. So it's important for Colin to take a knee to highlight police brutality and the mistreatment of black and brown people that's taking place. And as you just said, while he won't be celebrated by the masses now, when we look back at history in 20, 30 years, I'm going to be on the right side of this one. And he is too.
Agreed.
And there are so many people, when you look back at how, go back and look at some of the articles that people written about Muhammad Ali.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. And so if you can hear my voice, make sure you're on the right side of this one in 20 years.
Well said.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jalen Rose. Give it up for him one time. Thank you for coming by, man.
And I have to say this while I'm still here, because I think we all are similar in ages, especially you two. Thank you guys for the culture. Thank you guys for being leaders. Thank you guys for being intelligent. Thank you guys for being strong. I know it's tough. I know it's tough to fight this fight. I fight it every day. Wearing a goatee, being from Detroit, representing my neighborhood, trying to be powerful. I appreciate you guys. Keep up the good fight. Thank you guys very much.
Jalen Rose, one more time, man. Thank you.